United States 2, goals scored by Gio Reyna and Balogun, Paraguay 1. A good win for the U.S. men's national team against a good South American opponent. Now, was it perfect? No, it never is. But it was an overall positive performance with a win. So, what did we learn? Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And welcome to the 7 Things We Learned series, where every single day following a U.S. men's national team game, we tell you 7 things that we learned. Now, obviously, there's always more than 7 lessons, so you can let me know what did you learn from United States 2, Paraguay 1 in the comment section down below. Now, listen, if you go back a few months, the U.S. men's national team was a sinking ship, the Titanic, right? We were going down. Things were bad. And they kind of still are. They're getting fixed, but they kind of still are. And this is the way I see it. When the ship starts to sink and the water is hitting your ankle, you get worried, but you don't panic. But when it hits your ass, you learn how to swim. And it looks like Pochettino decided to learn how to swim. Now, has it been perfect? No. But there have been some strong signs of progress the past 2 windows, I would say, in this one. And we're going to talk about some of that today. All right, don't forget to drop a like in this video if you haven't already. Let's try to hit at least 1,000 likes. That's not too much to ask for. Okay, let's roll the intro and start with lesson number 1. Lesson number 1 is that Gio Reyna is the American version of James Rodriguez. And I'm not saying he was, is, or will ever be James Rodriguez level. James Rodriguez is a better player. He always has been. He's incredible. But what I'm trying to say here is James always struggled for club, or most of his career, right? He struggled for club. And he also struggled with injuries while balling out for the national team. Gio Reyna struggles with injuries, struggles to get minutes with his clubs, or just to perform in general, but he usually balls out for his country. And I want to say this too. He should be a roster lock for the national team. He showed again that he is just different, right? Pulisic is our best player, a starter at the attacking midfield role now in this 3-4-2-1 formation, 3-4-2-1 formation that Pochettino has. And then Tillman is likely the other starter next to Pulisic. But after that, Gio can compete with Tillman for that starting spot. But regardless of that, even if you think Tillman is the locked-in starter, after him, Gio is the first one off the bench. He is way better than Diego Luna. He is better than Brendan Aaronson. He's better than any other attacking midfielder that you can name, obviously with an American passport. And I'm going to say this again because there was a viewer of the channel that posted this on Twitter. And again, I don't have the tweet. I don't have his handle, and I apologize for that. Throughout Gio's injuries, they would always say, right, the Gio haters, they would always say that this guy or that guy is better than Gio Reyna until it was time for that guy or this guy to be Gio Reyna. Now look at Gio Reyna, you can see that he's one of the best American players out there. He's incredible, he's talented, and he got lucky to be here because he didn't really earn this call-up, right? He only got called in because there are so many players injured, and he is a talented player, so Pochettino gave him a shot, so props to Pochettino for that. And he's only there because Pulisic's injured, Tillman's injured, even Zendejas was ahead of him, and he's also injured. Pochettino gave him a shot, and you know what? He showed that he deserved to be there. Even though he didn't really earn that call, he proved to us that he should in fact be there. Lesson number 2, our backline, our center backs are not good. Simple as that, right? That's our Achilles heel, or our LeBron James's hairline. My point, that's our weakness right there. Tim Ream, well past his prime, not the same version we had of him in 2022, getting beat way too easily, no recovery speed. That's just not prime Tim Ream anymore. Well past his prime, actually. Miles Robinson, not good enough for the national team. I'll talk about him in lesson number 3, so I don't want to shit on him twice. Joe Scally as a center back. I'm willing to give him another shot, but let's be honest, it did not go well this game. Joe Scally was quite poor. Give other guys a chance. Give them an opportunity. Try Alex Freeman again. Give Mark McKenzie a lot of minutes. Austin Trusty. God, even try Tanner Tessman there. We need something. Because I'll say this. If we want to make a deep run in the World Cup, we need a good defense. And with this defense that we had in this game, there's a 0% chance that we'll pull an upset. And if you want to go to the quarterfinals, you will have to pull at least one upset, right? At least one, if you're lucky. And let me ask you this. Can you name one underdog story that made a deep run in the World Cup, whether it is the quarterfinals or semifinals, with a mediocre to bad defense? You can't name one because it doesn't exist. It never happened. If you want a Cinderella story or just an underdog story in general, it starts with a good defense, something we don't really have right now. And you may be saying, Paraguay only scored 1 goal. Well, Paraguay is not really known for scoring goals. Our defense throughout this game, there were a lot of positives that we're still going to talk about, but our defense throughout this game was very shaky. Which brings us to lesson number 3, Miles Robinson as a central center back in a back 3. When you play a back 3, the central center back is the most important one. And usually what I look into a player when he's playing that position, he needs 3 main qualities. He needs to be very athletic, which I guess that one Miles does have. He needs to have a very good reading of the game, positional awareness, tactical awareness, whatever you want to call it, which that Miles does not really have. I don't care what you say, he simply doesn't. And then the third thing that he would need is to be good on the ball, right? He has to be a ball-playing defender. Usually you have to be a ball-playing defender when you play as a central center back. And Miles Robinson is abysmal on the ball. So hopefully Pochettino learned. I don't know what he was thinking when he played Miles Robinson there as the replacement to Chris Richards. But if you're going to do that, play Tanner Tessman there. Try Tanner Tessman as the central center back in the back 3. Tessman is good on the ball, so he would be a ball-playing defender. He is very athletic. So he could do that. And he actually has very good reading of the game. He has great interceptions, positioning, tactical awareness. Now, you may be saying, Tack, you're just pushing the Tanner Tessman center back agenda. Yes, I am. I will die on this hill. And if we're going to play a back 3 like that and you're going to put Miles Robinson, you might as well try Tanner Tessman as a central center back. Lesson number 4, and this one is Brenden Aaronson. If you watch the U.S. Men's National Team Abroad series that we have every Monday, I've talked about how Brenden Aaronson with Leeds is useful in the Premier League, which is the best league in the world, but he is ineffective, especially as an attacker, right? He's an attacking mid, winger. He's very ineffective. And for the U.S. Men's National Team, we saw that again. And I'm going to defend Brenden here. I think he should be a roster lock. He's very useful. Is he ineffective in the final third? Extremely ineffective. But he's very useful. And in this past game against Paraguay, some people thought he played poorly. He wasn't bad. He didn't have a bad game. He also didn't have a good game. My overall point is you can't start Brenden Aaronson in the World Cup. However, having him off the bench, he can be very useful if you need a press, if you need work rate, if you need a guy that is versatile, that can play as an attacking mid, can play as a wing back. He can do the dirty work while you have a player like Gio Reyna floating around and creating. One of the big reasons why Gio Reyna played well, it was because Aaronson was next to him. Now, would Gio Reyna do better next to a Pulisic where he can actually combine? Yes. But Aaronson running around all over the place, hustling for Gio, running for Gio, allowed Gio to float around and be creative. So understand that. Aaronson is ineffective, but he's serviceable, and to me, he should be a roster lock. And I do want to add this, because there was a moment in time where I was like, no more Brenden for the national team. I was wrong. I don't know if he got better, or maybe I was just stupid, or maybe both. Who knows? But I did change my mind on that. I think he is useful for the national team, and he should be there. Lesson number 5 is about Floating Balogun. And I'm going to say this once again. It feels like I have to say this all the time, because every time after camp, this debate comes up once again. Who's the starting 9? Is it Pepi? Is it Balogun? Just stop the debate. It's Balogun. And I keep saying this every camp. I don't know why this is a debate. Again, Balogun scored for the U.S. once again. He was invisible for both of the game. And he still managed to be decisive once again. And mind you, if there was a VAR, Balogun drew a penalty kick. So even though he was mostly a ghost throughout the game, if there was VAR, he would have ended this game with a goal and a drawn penalty kick. You see that? And again, I agree with you that he didn't show up for most of the game. But a goal and drawn penalty kick, that's pretty good, right? While Ricardo Pepi came off the bench, and he literally had a goal with a wide open net that he took an extra touch, and then he still was able to get a shot off and got blocked by the defender. It was one of the worst misses I've seen in U.S. Men's National Team history. It looked like something Wando would do. So again, Pepi, good player. Not trying to shit on Pepi. We need him, actually. Especially if we're down a goal and we're trying to just chug balls into the box. He's a great poacher. But our best 9 is Balogun, right? The gap between Pepi and Balogun is the same gap between Christian Pulisic and whoever you think his backup is. Lesson number 6, I want to talk very quickly about a tactical mistake that we had in the first half mainly, and a little bit in the second half, which I don't know why Pochettino did this. I showed this in the live watch along. When we played the 3-4-2-1 formation, Serginho Dest was providing the width on the right, and Aaronson was providing the width on the left. Now, on the left, Tim Ream would sit back, and Aaronson would be the one that would have a lot of space to beat his man off the dribble and get crosses in. And actually, Aaronson played very well. I criticized him a lot, but he was quite good. Now, on the right side of the field, Dest was good, but not as good as Aaronson. And I think a little bit of that is due to Pochettino's tactics. So when we had the back 3, instead of Joe Scally sitting deep, he would push high up the field. And he would go even sometimes higher than Serginho Dest. What would that do? With that, Scally was occupying the space that Dest would have to beat his man off the dribble and possibly get across, whatever he wanted to do. That was because Scally was high up the field. That would lead to Serginho Dest trying to combine with Joe Scally, and Joe Scally ain't good in combination play. He's not really known for his offensive abilities. So that tactical issue, I think it held back Serginho Dest, which Dest and Aaronson could have killed it down the flanks, but we only had Aaronson kill it because of the tactics that were holding back Dest. So what am I proposing here? When we play the 3-4-2-1, have the 2 central attacking midfielders stay there floating around like Aaronson and Gio Reyna did. Have only the wing backs provide width, especially if you have guys that are good on offense like Dest and Aaronson. But have Scally or whoever's playing there, Freeman, just sit back the same way Tim Ream did. Let our wingbacks do the work. If you noticed that as well, let me know in the comment section down below. And in terms of actually showing it in the tactics board, I kind of did during the stream, right? So yeah. Lesson number 7 is a quick one. So in the previous camp, we talked about how we noticed a change in culture and attitude of the players. There was some fight in them. They were gritty. They seemed hungry, right? The players in the previous camp. But I did also say that I wanted to see if this was an anomaly or it would happen consistently in the future. And in this game, I saw that change in attitude again, a positive one. I saw players that were hungry to play to win, players that wanted to fight for their country, even at the end of the game, literally fight, right? Alex Freeman. But this is just a different version of the U.S. men's national team that we had seen over the past 2-3 years, a version that was anemic, dead, just in zombie mode. This team cares. This team wants to win. So props to Pochettino. Credit where it's due. He changed the culture that Greg Berhalter had created. The crap culture that Berhalter had created. Pochettino seems to have fixed that on time for the World Cup. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like right now before you go. Help us hit 1,000 likes and a comment in the comment section down below to help us with the YouTube algorithm. I want to thank you all very much for watching. The next game's against Uruguay. We will have a match preview and obviously a live watch along and 7 things we learned. Thank you for watching and have a great day.